You see, when you get very able, you start to realize that ability is not what you're lacking. What you're lacking is love. And you don't know how to create it. You just start to realize that that's what's needed. It's valuable. We're not lacking in ability and skill. We're lacking in realization and being. By which I mean we're tragically underdeveloped on the immaterial side. The material side is fantastic technology. And our spiritual side is a poverty that's better labeled as immaturity. It's not developed. From 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. And we're limping along with a society that has a wonderfully developed technology out of all proportion to our ability to steer it and handle it. What should we do? As I've said in the last recording, what is the solution? Well, it's not actually science which has developed from philosophy. It's philosophizing itself that needs to be developed along the things that are important to us, what matters to us. Simplistically, our happiness, our contentment, our feelings, our wants other than the material wants. It might be for appreciation. You know, the greatest desire in human nature is to be appreciated. Not actually to have a new car. We're sick of new cars. This one's too complicated for me to work. Or I was comfortable with the old one. I did it automatically. In the new one, I've got to... Where are the headlights on this thing? Oh, it's all automatic. Yeah, but it's not automatically what I want. What's the technology that controls when these things come on? You know, and so it goes on. Do you see his society has warped into a condition of imbalance? It's majored on developing one side. He's like the weightlifter who's got fantastically strong arms and chest, but a weak stomach and back trouble and pathetically thin legs. Do you see? Sorry to give this grotesque picture. I'm come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. What is this thing that we love about people? Is it stark beauty, makeup? Is it nudity? Or is it that she's a loving friend, values me and cares for me? What am I really looking for? Have I been looking for the wrong thing? Did I fall for the makeup and the absence of clothing? Which is what much modern dress can be, can't it? Or was it the kindness and the love that I needed? The friend that's always there. Is that what matters to me more than anything else now? Because my trivial needs, food and shelter, have been met. But my humanitarian, humanist needs are not met. I want someone to love and care for. I want a family. I feel fulfilled when I'm creating. I want to create. My second wife, when she was holding her baby in church, I've said it before, haven't I? But she was overwhelmed with gratitude at the loveliness of having her own child in her arms. This tiny soul that didn't even exist before, so to speak, you know. She was swept up in thankfulness to God. Transformed her life for the next few years. I mean, it didn't last much longer than that. But it was good going. Very good going. You see, we need to know what is important to us. They may be basic, fundamental drives, like having family, that were, and probably will remain for a while, fundamental to the race even being and continuing. What is it about loyalty that's so commendable? Integrity, honesty, faithfulness, compassion. What is it about these things that are so invaluable, that we need now, that we've met our other needs? In some measure, we've met the ability to meet our other needs. We may not have solved the distribution problem. You know, it's like the preacher who says the good news is that we've got the money for the new church. The bad news is it's all still in your bank accounts. Well, the good news is we've found a way of meeting human needs. The bad news is all the prosperity is in the hands of those that are not interested in using it for such. Oh dear. Why? Because they suffer the same poverty enlightenment as us. They have no God. They have no devotion to a perfect hope and being. Got no notion of it. We've lost it. We've lost it. My goodness. We've starved the whole chunk of our personhood that's so necessary to life. Life eternal. Thank you, Dad. Oh, hang on, thank you what? You mean you found the problem? Well, at least identified the problem in some sense, or made progress. And I'm not saying anything new, am I? I mean, this is what's bugging us in the modern age, that our societies are not bringing in the intangible goods. It's bringing in the tangible. The car, the house and so on. The large middle class that's living comfortably compared to the poor. But it's not doing the poor much good. And it's not doing that much good for the middle class and even the rich. For they also suffer from a poverty of understanding of the spiritual just as much as us. More so, really. They've been slightly less pressed into looking into it. Sometimes they're more pressed, and you get, the son of a rich man who just becomes an ascetic. He realizes that riches are not the answer. Mum and Dad are no happier for being rich. A bit like my position. I can remember hearing this chap hollering, probably drunk. He saw a sign that my dad had up saying tradesman with an arrow to indicate that if you were a delivery man, you were meant to go to the back door, not the front. Oh my goodness, you've no idea the cultural background that my dad came from. Victorian England. What do you mean tradesman? What were you bloody trading then? He was bawling at the top of his voice. I could hear him. I don't think my parents could. They were somewhere in the living room at the back of the house. And I thought, if only you realised, mate, he's no happier than you are. He's got a wife that hates him. And she's got a husband that doesn't understand her. And I've got two parents that are at war with each other instead of enjoying their wealth. You don't realise, mate, what the real problem is. And I could extend it now by saying in our society, not just here in my home. And a great blessing such realisation is, and such circumstance. Do you see, we need the good and the evil to understand the good and to be able then to move towards it. Thank you, Dad. Yes, Mum was suicidal much of the time. That's a great strain on a kid, you know. Terrible worry. Especially as Dad was seen to be unloving, would just get rid of you, you know. And Dad was faithful and true and loyal, in a Victorian way, of course, but to a woman that didn't love him. That's a nightmare, you know. He said, you'll realise when you grow up, boy, he said at one point during an argument, when I was sitting despairing in an armchair, he says, you'll realise when you grow up, it's not like you think. He was right, and I do remember what he said. This world highlights our needs and what our values are to be. It's an incredible blessing, potentially. It seems that nothing is certain here. You will not know God, your personification of the solution, until you trust He exists and practice living accordingly and seeing what the consequences are. If you are happier and more fulfilled, you'll keep going in that direction. If you're not, you'll adjust your view accordingly. Bless you. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. There is much around to guide us that we can attend to, and there is much that can be ignored. And we struggle on in the same old way. Choose you this day whom you will serve. And actually, I don't mean serve. Let me rewrite scripture rather better. Choose you this day what you will love and whom you will love. Even that could be better put. Choose you this day whom you will love. Just leave it at that. Well, we choose to love all, but it still may be the case that the scripture, emphasizing thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul, mind and strength, is the way to go, especially where we've started to realize that our God has to be one that loves all life. Now we seem to be on a good footing. What do you think?